going on, guys? So apologies for not making a Doctor Who video last week. If you saw my iZombie video, I also missed that, and I explained why I wasn't able to make videos over that weekend. But let's do a quickie review of episode 7, which was the second part of this arc that happened. We got to see the Doctor, we saw the Pyramid Land, and the freaking monks were trying to get the human race to suffer because they are, not to suffer, but to surrender and say that, you know, the monks would help them out and save their world because they've seen what was going to happen that was going to destroy the world. And we know that it was in that lab, and some crazy gas was about to get out and basically destroy everything ever on the Earth. And I thought it was just a really awesome episode, you know, with the Doctor trying to figure things out and trying to talk sense into all the three major militaries. And of course, the freaking human race has always got to do things their way and strategically. And the Doctor's like, listen to me, bitch! And they just don't, of course, and they get themselves killed and all of that jazz. And it's just out of a place of fear because they just, it's a panic reflex. And it's like, oh my god, they have the answer, they can save us, let's do it! But they don't think about the long-term thing where, you know, they're going to take over the world and do all that shit. And then we see the Doctor's actually going to die because he doesn't have his eyesight, and Bill, being a great companion like all companions before her, actually does the one thing she needs to do to save the Doctor, and he gets his eyesight back. So now we know how the Doctor has got his eyesight back, and it was because Bill, you know, the freaking monks gave it his eyesight back, but at a cost, which was enslaving the whole human race pretty much. So yeah, that was it. I really enjoyed episode 7, but let's go ahead and jump into episode 8, because man, oh man, okay, I mentioned iZombie at the beginning of this video, but iZombie and Doctor Who, which are my least viewed videos, unfortunately, have been covering the most, like, serious shit this season, and I love that. Like, I love episodes, or I shouldn't say episodes, but, or in Doctor Who's case, it's episodes, but I love when shows freaking cover real-world shit, and this Doctor Who episode was totally talking about fake news, and if you live in America, you know all about fucking fake news, and if our terrible president has went to go to your country, you probably know about fake news there as well. But this episode and what the monks were doing in this episode was straight out of the freaking Orson Welles 1984 book, because man, I recently read that book this year, and it is totally, holy shit, the same thing. Correction, it's George Orwell. I don't know why I said Orson Welles, whatever. Similar, but George Orwell's 1984. Orson Welles was an actor, man, blew that. Anyways, back on track, that was basically what this whole concept of this episode was about, and even the whole fake news thing happened at the end of the episode, because you saw that dumb bitch in one of the triangles. I was like, damn it, Doctor Who, you're the one outlet that I have to get away from that shit, and you put his face in it. But, you know, whatever, I get it. But this whole episode was great, in my opinion. I was kind of like, I was really, like, it was intense. I don't know how you guys felt, but when they were in that white room, and the Doctor was telling Bill, like, no, I was like, this is how it's gonna be. You had your decision, you fuck shit up. I was like, I need to do this with the monks to protect your race because you're constantly gonna keep messing up. And she got all crazy and she ended up shooting the Doctor. Like, that whole scene was kind of intense for me. I was all like, holy shit. I, for once, thought, and I knew I should know better being a Doctor Who fan, like I should know better that the Doctor's just joking. But I thought maybe, for once, he was going off the deep end. But I knew there was going to be a bigger point at the end, but I thought like this was going to be a serious moment and that wasn't going to happen till the end of the episode. But, you know, they got me, like they always do. After Bill shoots the Doctor and he starts to regenerate, which I was going to be so freaking shocked, and I would have been so epically shocked had there been a new Doctor mid-season. That would have been nuts, because there were rumors that the Doctor was actually going to change or regenerate mid-season, and we were going to get the next Doctor for a few episodes, and then I guess it was going to revert back for the Christmas special. I don't know what was going to happen, but that would have been something very different for Doctor Who to do, was to get a new actor midway through the season, and I was like, they ain't gonna fucking do it, they ain't gonna fucking do it. And they didn't fucking do it. Like, I don't know how the Doctor can actually just do that on his own, but then again, he's probably done that in a majority of episodes, if I'm not mistaken, because he's healed River's hand, so that's actually not something that should be surprising me. Although he did the whole, like, explosion thing, and it worked, and I was all like, what? How And why didn't he just do that to regenerate his eyes? But anyways, we got to see a lot of the craziness of this whole, like, you know, police state and, like, people trying to, you know, anybody that was, like, going against the monks was getting kidnapped and taken to prison and stuff like that. Want to point out, if you didn't see this little Easter egg thing, but when everybody was watching the doctor on those TV sets, above it said Magpie's Electronics. If you guys don't remember, Mr. Magpie, he's from the whole, what was that episode? It was with David Tennant and Rose. I always say David Tennant, but it was with the Tennant's doctor and Rose, and it was all about her getting her face sucked into the TV. That was Magpie's store. It's good to see that Mr. Magpie still has a job after that whole thing. From there, we saw Nordell meet up with Bill. They found out where the doctor was. They went to go save the doctor. We had that whole dramatic scene, and then the plan starts happening because the doctor, you know, had to make sure that Bill wasn't like an undercover agent or whatever. So that was all cool and dandy and all that stuff. And then we found out that they needed to go meet Missy. And I gotta say, Missy's one of my favorite characters. I know she's the master and stuff like that, but I just love Missy on this show. Like, her sass that she has is one of my favorite things, and just seeing her finally get like a bigger part in an episode. I'm really hoping that we're going to get more Missy episodes down the way of this season, because I believe she is not going to be coming back after Capaldi leaves, because like there's just this thing in the Doctor Who society where everybody just stays with their doctor and they really don't jump over much. But I can't, I don't know. I want Missy to stay on for at least one more season, but she kind of said Capaldi's her doctor, so she's probably going to leave after this season. So I'm kind of hoping she has a bigger part going on. But speaking of Missy, we found out how gangster she was by saying that, like, oh yeah, you need to kill yourself and all this stuff. And we talked about how she's beat the monks before, and how she's trying to change, and how she's not going to be able to change over time. And it's really interesting to see what's happening with her character, because do we think the Master is actually going to change, or is it just a whole freaking ruse to just show the Doctor that she is never going to change, or the Master will never change and they will always be enemies, but at the same time they're kind of friends? Because we saw at the end of the episode she was crying and she was talking about how she remembered all the people she killed, and she actually remembered their names and stuff like that. So I'm really interested to see what's happening with this character, like what's going on with Missy. But you know, she keeps telling the Doctor, she's all like, he feels like she's not changing, but she's all like, look, back in the day I would have just blown up a world to see how pretty it looked, but I'm telling you right now that you can save all of these people by just killing your little pet here. And I don't know, so I'm really interested to see what happens, and I want to know what the hell Missy did to get that death sentence, because she's serving it out. The Doctor said he would watch her for 1,000 years, but what did she do? I want to know what happened that, you know, she had this death sentence. Maybe that's going to be the reason why we're going to see the old school Master, because maybe the old school Master, because I believe he's supposed to be on an episode this season, maybe he did something when he was that regeneration, and or that version of the Master, and maybe he did something crazy and Missy has to pay for that, because I mean, she just regenerated, it's the same person. But I don't know, I really want to see what's going to be happening with the Missy character. I just hope she hits more episodes. After Missy tells the Doctor that he needs to kill Bill, or Bill needs to die, of course the Doctor doesn't want that to happen. He's like, we gotta break into this spot, and we gotta, you know, gotta freaking change all the craziness. The Doctor gets into Fake News Central. No, it's not Fox News, it's just the monks' version of it. And there's this guy just chilling there, and he's the one sending out all the brain signals, and the Doctor's got to somehow beat that whole idea and work. And we see him get lost. Like, he's not able to beat this thing, and then Bill's like, I got to do it myself, and they tie up the Doctor. And I thought it was about to be a whole freaking, you know, how do you say, river situation with the Doctor. I'm glad it wasn't, but it did seem like that a lot. I thought she was going to try to sacrifice herself, but I knew she was still going to be in more seasons, but I thought maybe he was going to have to go save her and do all that jazz. But I'm glad she was actually the one to actually overcome everything, and she beat it with having that pure memory idea of her mom. And is this what we were talking about this whole season? I was telling you guys, memory card stop, that's been happening a lot lately, but I've been telling you guys that all season, there's been a reason why she keeps mentioning her mom. Is this finally it? Was this the big revelation and the big like plot story of why her mom is so important to help her save the world? But one thing I literally laughed out loud was when the Doctor saw that happening, and it was just this pure memory of Bill's mom, that he took all the credit for it, which he was all like, yes, Bill! He was like, do that! he was all, when I gave you all those pictures, I thought I was just being nice, but I was saving the world. Like, I loved that part, and I told you, I laughed so hard when that happened. I was like, of course the doctor would say he saved the world when Bill's doing it right now. But he just gave her some photos, and it just so happened to save the whole world. And the doctor's like, yeah, I did that. That's me. That was my favorite part of the episode, because I just wasn't expecting it, and it just came out of nowhere. He's like, I thought it was just being nice, but I was really saving the world. Like, I don't know. The doctor, I just love this show. But, yeah, I don't know. That was awesome. And I don't really have anything else to say. I mean, I really loved this episode. Like I said, I just recently read 1984, so seeing an episode that was pretty much like that just really, it was really interesting to watch. And like I said, with everything we're dealing with the media nowadays, seeing an episode like this in my favorite show was just awesome, because I love seeing real world shit incorporated into like fantasy shows that I watch. So that was really good and cool to see. But now I'm interested to see what's going to happen now. Like, are we not going to be focusing on Bill's mom so much anymore? Is there not going to be little hints like that? Or is she still going to be doing that through the rest of this episode? What's going to happen with Missy? Why was she crying? I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on all of this stuff, because I do feel like there's got to be something bigger coming. And I'm interested to see where this show's going to go now. But that is it for this Doctor Who review, guys. Again, sorry for not doing the episode 7 one last week, but there are no more superhero shows, and I'm no longer streaming on Saturday nights, so I should have the nights and the next day to actually start putting these videos out on time. So, hopefully, the rest of these Doctor Who videos will be out on time and we won't have any more mishaps. But remember, guys, if you ever want to support this channel, you can check out the Patreon like these awesome people did, or you can do the OG thing and give this video a like and share with all your Doctor Who buddies. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all things nerdy and geeky on this channel. As always, I'm your host, JUICEbox. Remember, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself something. Have I had my daily dose of juice? See you guys next time. Bye!